Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome to you. Have you ever wondered what the Quran actually describes as the ideal character? Not just, a list of do's and don'ts, but a real, living portrait of a righteous person. Well, today, we're going to dive into a few key verses that give us exactly that, a kind of behavioral snapshot of faith in action.
So that brings us right to the heart of it. The big question for this explainer: what are the core traits, those essential qualities, that really define a person of righteousness according to this divine blueprint? Let's unpack this together.
Okay, let's dive right in. The entire structure, everything we're about to talk about, is actually built on one single powerful foundation. It all kicks off with honoring a promise. And listen, this isn't just any old promise. The sources call it the primordial covenant. Just think about that for a second. A pre-world affirmation, a moment where all of humanity and God established this foundational relationship. It's literally the starting point of our entire story, the commitment that holds everything else up.
And this one principle, it branches out into two really important directions. First, you've got your commitments to God. That's the vertical relationship. Things like obedience, gratitude, keeping our pledges to Him. But then look at the other side. You have your commitments to people, the horizontal relationship. And that shows up as trustworthiness, integrity, honoring your promises. The key takeaway here? Your faith becomes visible through your character. They're connected.
So if keeping a promise is the foundation, what do we build on top of it? Well, the Quran shows us that true faith has two parts that you just can't separate: what you believe deep down in your heart and what you actually do with your hands.
First up, there's that inner dimension, what we can call the creedal core. This is your belief in the Quran, your belief in the revelations that came before it. But I really want you to zoom in on this last point: a deep, settled certainty in the hereafter. The Arabic word here is yuqinun, which is so much more than just nodding along with an idea. It's a profound, unshakable conviction that completely shapes how you see the world and live your life. And this is where we see how that inner certainty has to show up on the outside. It's expressed through two huge pillars of practice: establishing regular, sincere prayer and spending from what we've been given to help other people out. And just notice the beautiful pairing here. Your personal, disciplined worship is always tied to social responsibility and compassion. One just flows right into the other.
So we have the promise, we have the practice. But what about real life? How does a righteous person navigate the messy, complex world of human interactions, especially when things get negative? That brings us to the social ethic.
Wow, this statement is just so incredibly powerful. It's a proactive principle. See, it's not about ignoring evil or just gritting your teeth and enduring it. It's about actively countering it with something better. It's an ethic of social repair, of making things right, of responding to wrongdoing with a positive, constructive action.
But are these just separate, isolated actions? Keeping promises, praying, giving, responding with good? Actually, no. The sources describe them as being part of a kind of divine economy, where your good deeds aren't just acts, they're investments.
And this whole cycle is powered by two key spiritual muscles: patience, or sabr, when you're going through a hard time, and gratitude when you're blessed. When you practice both, you tap into this amazing cycle where your spiritual and social returns actually compound. It's amazing. The sources tell us that being grateful is itself a cause for receiving even more.
So what's the ultimate return on this incredible spiritual investment? For the people who really embody these qualities, the Quran makes a very specific and pretty incredible promise: a twofold recompense, a double reward.
And this isn't just symbolic language. The scholars explain that this means both immediate, real, tangible blessings and benefits right here in this life, and an even greater, eternal reward in the hereafter. It's a confirmation that a life of integrity and faith brings goodness both now and in the world to come.
So, from honoring that primordial promise all the way to practicing this proactive ethic of goodness, we've pieced together this beautiful behavioral snapshot of what it means to be a righteous person.
So, what does this all mean for us right here, right now? Well, this profile isn't just something to admire from a distance. It's meant to be a mirror for our own self-reflection. We can actually ask ourselves, do I keep my promises, the big ones and the small ones? Is my faith something I just feel inside, or is it something I actually do? How do I react when somebody wrongs me? And am I truly patient in hardship and genuinely thankful for my blessings?
And that really leaves us with one final thought to ponder. These principles, this blueprint, was revealed over 1,400 years ago.
So the real question for us today is, how can this ancient ethical blueprint not just be admired, but actively inform and enrich a modern life? Thank you so much for joining me.